All right, welcome back to the channel. Man, you can't make some people happy, you know what I mean? Errol Spence Jr. versus Danny Garcia is set to be announced soon, and as usual, bunch of complaints about a Errol Spence fight being made, but this time for a reason I cannot fathom. People are saying that it is disrespectful to Danny Garcia for Errol Spence Jr. to be fighting him. Very unique way to crap on a fight. But let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. So, as you know, the PBC is coming out with their schedule for the second half of 2020. And on paper, it is tremendous. If these fights go through, this, for me, saves the year in boxing. Not least of which is a fight between Errol Spence Jr. and Danny Garcia. But you know, there's a lot of people that do not like Errol Spence Jr., and I think many of them do not like Errol Spence Jr. because of the people that like Errol Spence Jr., but still, let's run with the conversation. Before we get into the conversation, though, I have to say thank you for subscribing. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Share the video, like the video. Also, thank you to everybody that supports on the Patreon as a channel member and in the live streams. Keep your eye out for the live stream for the Patreon that's coming out today. And hint is about the fact that our day-to-day lives are not going back to normal after all this drama is over. Well, so check that on the Patreon, but let's get on to the boxing conversation. Now, the boxing conversation we're going to have in this video is about Errol Spence Jr. and Danny Garcia. Errol Spence Jr. is the WBC champion of the world, the IBF welterweight champion of the world, and Danny Garcia is a former unified champion at 140 pounds, the former WBC world champion, and excellent. Both of these guys are excellent, top-notch fighters. The WBC, which is one of the belts that Errol Spence Jr. holds, has mandated a fight between Errol Spence and Danny Garcia, and that, my understanding, is targeted to be in November, around the November time frame. But of course, all of this is the locations and the times for all these fights are obviously up in the air because we don't really know what's going on, with the pandemic, and things change week to week, month to month. But all in all, I'm extremely excited about the fact that these fights are going to be made. Now, once the Errol Spence Jr. Danny Garcia fight, now that it is being announced, right? You got guys like Mike Coppinger with his source that is telling him when the fight should be taking place, all of that good stuff. But so now that people are believing that the fight is actually going to take place, there are some people out there that think that Errol Spence Jr. is being disrespectful to Danny Garcia by taking it. Now, why would they think he's disrespectful? Errol Spence Jr. was in a car accident, I do believe in December, maybe it was the October time frame, but it was maybe a month after his last fight. His last fight was in September, where he unified the belts against Sean Porter. After that, he was in a car accident where the car flipped over a bunch of times. There was real fear about whether or not Errol Spence Jr. was going to live. Well, he winds up living. Excuse me, I had to sneeze. He winds up living, and not only that, he's healthy. He says that there's not going to be any holdup from, as far as him having to be able to fight. All right, he didn't break any bones. All he did, he broke some teeth or whatever, and so he's ready to fight. Now, people are saying that Errol Spence Jr. is being disrespectful to Danny Garcia because Errol Spence doesn't take a tune-up fight in between the two, right? Now, I don't get how that is being disrespectful. I think the people that are being disrespectful are the people that are just assuming that Errol Spence Jr. is not telling you the truth, right? That the doctor said that he was clear, that he's training, that he doesn't, that he feels like he doesn't feel any different, right? But I think it's being respectful. Errol Spence Jr. is actually being very respectful of Danny Garcia He's being very respectful of the belts and what it means to be a champion, which is something you're not getting from a lot of fighters. Okay. So Danny Garcia is the mandatory fighter, is the mandatory for the WBC title. He is. Now, if Errol Spence Jr. feels like he's 100%, why would Errol Spence Jr. take a tune-up fight and keep Danny Garcia from getting his shot at the world title, his, umpteenth shot at a world championship? But why would he just say no, I'm not going to fight you. I know I can get away with an easier payday. Give me Abu Karov. That's good enough for me. I'll take Abu Karov, and then I'll catch up with Danny Garcia next year. Man, that is, my friend, something Keith Thurman would do. Okay? That's what Keith Thurman did. Keith Thurman have an injury, then he's out for 2 years. He hurts his shoulder, I'm out for another year. Errol Spence Jr. is obviously not trying to do that. Errol Spence Jr. has talked about strap season, right? And the fact that he intends on winning all the belts. Well, if he doesn't defend if he's just fighting, whoever it is, how is he actually in pursuit of doing that? And if he doesn't fight Danny Garcia, it's not like the mandatory is going to go anywhere. The mandatory is going to be there. So if he doesn't fight Danny Garcia, if he doesn't defend his mandatory now, and he says he fights Abu Karev, then how do you know that, when he wants to get the fight, if it was even be possible for Manny to get the fight with Manny Pacquiao, that he's not already still burdened by the fight with Danny Garcia? So look, I'm not going to second guess, and I've not second guessed Errol Spence Jr. since this car accident has taken place. Now, the good thing for Errol Spence Jr. is that, dude, he is not fought in a year, right? So September, I think the accident was in October. So if there's God, I can't remember if this fight is supposed to be in September. September seems a little quick because, quite honestly, dude, September is the month after next. So, if this is November time frame that it happens, then he would have been a year. It would have been a year or getting close to a year since the accident took place. So if he didn't have that bad an injury, he didn't break any bones, he didn't have anything other than his teeth, his teeth get knocked out, right? And some severe bruising, because that's what he said he had, severe bruising. So if he has severe bruising, that by this time, the bruising and all that stuff should have gone away, right? His teeth, he got his teeth fixed. His dent, whatever it is that he has in his mouth, should have had time to set and heal. So, it can take the pressure of getting hit with a mouthpiece in your mouth. I don't understand. I think he should fight Danny Garcia. Now, the fight itself, don't get it twisted. That's a tough fight. That's a very tough fight. And obviously, I'm picking Errol Spence Jr. to win it because I think Errol Spence Jr. is a much more well-rounded fighter than Danny Garcia is, right? However, Danny Garcia is no soft touch, and he deserves the shot at Errol Spence Jr. because the dude is one of the top welterweights in the world, and also, it is something that would allow boxing fans to get a fight that they want to see, right? Now, and that's some of the other things that I've noticed about about these conversations going on about, the PBC's fight cards. It's like, all of a sudden now you're complaining about pay-per-view and how you're not, I don't know if that's a $50 fight for me. I don't know if I want to pay $70 for that fight. I don't know. Dude, if you're not going to buy the fight, then you're just not going to buy the fight. And then the business model will play itself out. Okay. If they did not believe that they had a core group of people that were going to be able to buy, that were going to be willing to buy this fight, then they wouldn't take the chance. But if they want to take the chance, what difference does it make to anybody if they want to take the chance? I would rather pay $50. I would rather pay $50 for a pay-per-view, right? Knowing that I'm going to get a fight that I actually want to see than, play, what am I paying, $5 a month for something I know for sure I do not want, right? So for me, it's like, are you going to give me a shit sandwich or a steak, right? The shit sandwich costs me $5, but it's a shit sandwich. I don't want it. It's going to taste bad. The shit's going to be bad for me. It's nasty. I don't want it, right? But this one, so the only other option is an excellent sandwich that is a little more money than I want to pay. But dude, at least I'm going to get something for my money that I actually want to get. So I want to see Gervonta Davis versus Leo Santa Cruz. So at least I have the option to see something like that. I don't care about Navrati versus whoever the heck else, whatever, some punch dummy that Navrati is going to be Navrati's going to be fighting, right? I care about I care and want to see Jamal Charlo fight Jason Rosario and Sergey Derevyanchenko. I don't care about whether or not Josh Kelly can beat Sam Eggington. So even though it might cost me less money to watch Sam Eggington and Josh Kelly, dude, I would rather pay more money to see a real high quality fight where I know that I got my money's worth. You know what I mean? Because I would rather, I guess that's probably the better way to say it. I'd rather get my money's worth for something that costs $50 than get jack crap for something that costs $5. That's my viewpoint on the matter. And anyway, I don't find it at all disrespectful that that Errol Spence Jr. is fighting Danny Garcia. In fact, I think it is respectful to the sport of boxing. It's respectful to the other champions, and it's not wasting time. If he felt like he wasn't ready, then he shouldn't fight at all. Because if he's not ready and he fights somebody like a Abu Karov and his jaw is going to break at the first punch, then you're going to see the same thing happen against Abu Karov as you would see against Danny Garcia. So what's the point? But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And also, hey, check out the Patreon that's coming up today. And also check out the live streams that we're going to do. Thank you for everybody in the membership that are members and support the channel. And with that, we're out. Peace.